Oh, God almighty. Damn, I thought that was money. There's a helicopter flying around. It's not a helicopter, it's just a wasp. Anyway, let's make a start. Hello and welcome back to Rory's Workshop. Today we're working on the Ferguson again for episode 5 of the Fergie. And today, similar to probably what I said in the previous episode, I'm going to throw on the clutch, flywheel and the clutch, and then we'll do the tappets. I need to change the oil filter as well, actually. And then sump on, and then we'll start making tracks towards getting them mated back together. So to that end, I'm going to start plodding on, and we'll go from there. The flywheel's clean. I'm going to clean off again, just to make sure that it is totally clean. I need to clean the back of the block off. And then, yeah, we'll just slowly plod on, and we'll hopefully get this back together fairly soon. Hello! So a bit of an update. Obviously, I'm rebuilding what I've just taken apart. So the sump is on, new oil filter, an oil filter gasket for the filter bowl to go onto the block. Same for the filler. I'm here, so I've got the gaskets there to hand, and it's no extra work, really. Yeah, the sump's on. Happy with that. I'm just about to put the rocker cover on, and new gasket. I'm just stretching the gasket so it doesn't keeps collapsing or going in on itself, but that's a bit better. That's a lot better. Excellent, good. So the rocker cover, you saw how dirty all was in here before. I've cleaned it all up. I've done the tappets. And then I put the sump on. All tappets are set to how they should be. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing how they sound. If they sound rattly, I have to do it again and just set them a bit tighter. I've painted inside. A couple of coats of primer and a couple of coats of satin black on top. I've used this on other projects in the past and it's worked really well. It hasn't flaked off or anything, and it has fully cured, which is good. Obviously all the gaskets have come from Mayhill Tractor up in Gloucestershire, mayhilltractors.com. Really good, fast service, and generally they've got everything on the shelf. In fact, I don't think they haven't had anything that I needed that they didn't have, which is good in stock. So we'll throw this on. And obviously another reason why I've been filming absolutely everything is because it can get quite tedious for you guys to watch. And I can also have Spotify on. Am I allowed to say Spotify? Bugger it, I just did. So it makes it a bit easier for me to have a bit of music on, because they get a bit antsy if I play, well, music that I like, which again probably isn't to everybody's taste, but hey, that's what makes us all different. So pipe, breather pipe. This tractor generally does run really well. Of course, except when it stops on TV, or then it doesn't really like doing that very often. I need to tidy up because there's crap everywhere. Come on, get in your hole. Sort of floundering around. I think that's it. Banjo bolt goes back in. Some more schmoo getting inside. Yeah. All about the tongue as well. You got your tongue sticking out whilst you're working on something, you must be doing it right. Three-quarter in. That's what I was looking for. How are you finding these so far? Is this alright? Is it vaguely interesting? It's taking its time, but we're slowly getting there. They're like Guinness. Good things come to those who wait. Am I right to say that? Find out. Find out when I get told off by YouTube or... That'll do. I won't fully tighten that one down until I've knit down these two. Now I haven't painted the outside of the tractor. It is the wrong colour, wrong shade of grey. No, not 50 shades of grey. Get your mind out of the gutter. It is the wrong shade of grey, but I don't know the grey, and actually I don't really mind it. But I like stuff to be in a good usable condition rather than concourse or anything like that. I like stuff to work. So yeah, that's about it. So the rockers on are now capable of lifting the engine. That's another reason why the flywheel isn't on, because the frame is where the flywheel will sit. Bit of an idiot there, but such is life. Yeah, so next I'm going to jack up the engine. We'll pop the flywheel back on, take the input shaft out of the back end of the tractor, hopefully line it all up, and then probably be about lunchtime. Winner. So we're finally at a part where I can rebuild something else, which is great. So the flywheel's on, it's all torqued down, the tab washers are done, and I'm about to throw the clutch back together. So the clutch, it only goes on one way, and if you put it on the wrong way, it will break it. So the hub, you see how, I'm trying to get a side view, so you see how the hub sticks out one end more than the other. The shallower end goes into the tractor. Which seems obvious, but I can guarantee there's people out there who've done it wrong. So I'm just going to quickly clean up the pressure plate. Before I've already done the flywheel, just to make sure there's no oils or greases or crap on there that could stop it or glaze over the finish. So it doesn't really matter at the moment where this sort of sits, as long as it sits vaguely in the right area. I've taken the shaft out of the back end of the tractor to make sure I get it lined up correctly, and it's so obvious, it's bloody brilliant. So we'll chuck one of these in just to hold the pressure plate, and then we'll go from there. And that's 30 on that one. Perfect. Ideal. I'm happy with that. As long as it's in the ballpark area. So yeah, and they're all even as well. They're not wildly out of tolerance from one another. Pop that back. Yeah. Oh, well, we're getting there. We're getting an awful lot closer. So I'm going to stop for some lunch now, and we'll gather our thoughts and make sure everything's all right. So I've fallen foul of this in the past, particularly when I... Oh, that's about right. Particularly when I... It's really in there. There we go. When I first stripped this down, I took all the brake parts off willy-nilly, just to get the shaft out and get going, really. But when I rebuilt it, I realised that to make these independent brake feet pedals, make sure that they're vaguely the same height, that there's a lot of adjustment on these. So when I took it out apart again to put the clutch in, I made sure that I marked it so it was vaguely in the right same place when I came back to throw it together. Now it is a bit of a juggling act because the camera's in the way and all sorts of other excuses here. But that feels somewhere near. Is it about right? Oh, look at that. So there you go, and that's why you put 2 lines. You generally put 2 or 3 lines just in case you rub one off accidentally. I normally put a minimum of 2. It also shows you exactly where it is. You can't be sort of a tooth out or anything. So yeah, it was just that tip. So I'm going to tighten this one up. And next, I've tightened up the pressure plate onto the flywheel. That's all tight. So as far as I'm concerned, the engine's about ready for insertion. And now I'm going to take off that side plate just to have a look inside and make sure everything seems to be okay. I'll start a time lapse so you can see what I'm up to. Back in a minute. So we've got the cover off. We can now have a peek inside. It doesn't look too bad. You can see the new... I fitted in this a standard tractor size PTO shaft, so it's gone up a size compared to the standard Fergie one. Just so we can run all of our... Well, I got the log chopper. If you haven't seen it, have a look on our Instagram. Lethal bit of kit. But for us to run that machine on this machine, I needed to upgrade the PTO shaft. So I've done that. And also, it seems like at the back, I haven't drained out the back aft. Sorry, the back half. So I'm going to drain that out now. And actually, I'm quite impressed by how clean it looks in there. And it looks like most of the sort of moisture-ridden oil has left. So I'll clean up this bit. We'll drain that bit of oil out and then we'll go from there. I'm quite happy now. Now that I've seen inside, make sure that there isn't anything. I'll give it another good look without the camera. We'll drain it all out, clean it, and then I'm quite happy to throw in the 22.5 litres of oil that needs to go in the back of here. So yeah, I'll be back with you in a moment once I've sorted all of this out. So here's all the sump plugs from the Fergie, from the gearbox and the back axle. And you can just see all the crap that accrues in them. This one's particularly full, so I'm going to give these a quick wash out because they are pretty minging. Make sure they're nice and clean before we throw them back in. Back in a moment once they're clean. And there we have it, all nice and clean. Excellent. There's a lot of schmoo in this one. In the back axle, that one was by far the worst. As I took the bung out, a little stream of oil came out, and I thought that was a bit weird. So I stuck my finger in the hole, and you could feel all the crud had sort of come together, and it was nigh on blocking the hole. As soon as I put my finger through it, it just came out like a gushing torrent. So it's all out now, it's all drained, and it's all cleaned up, made a bit of a mess. So I'm going to put all the bungs back in. We'll clean up this, we'll clean up where the dipstick goes, and then I think what I'll do is I'll leave it empty. I'll obviously rebuild that. Make sure it's vaguely sealed up, and I think we'll start looking at mating the front end to the back end, because that'll be good, and that'll probably, well, we'll just keep working really. We've got a barbecue tonight, but I think we'll just keep going as we are. I need to tidy up as well because it's really winding me up how dirty I've managed to let this get. But we'll carry on going, and I'll get caught up with you in a minute once I've done some more stuff. So there we have it. it's about ready to be mated, I think. Top cover went, side cover went on perfectly fine. Obviously, new gasket was great. And now it's just a matter of the mating ceremony. I'll try and film it without getting demonetized. Though I've tidied up a bit. I've hoovered up all the bloody sawdust that was getting in the way. And yeah, I'll do a time lapse of this because I don't know how it's going to go. This could either go really well and slot together beautifully, or it could fight me till God knows what time. So I think I'll set up the time lapse. We'll play some more of the dodgy time lapse music, and we'll see where we end up. Hopefully it'll be a tractor in one piece. Down here I've got the bolts all ready. They're all in vague orientation for how they go into the tractor. They're all the same length, give or take. They're all the same size, which is great. 11/16. Bloody brilliant. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of things for me to do. I may call for backup. I may call down and ask Step Hen to come and join me. That's the chap in the background, in case you haven't realised. That's Stephen, my father-in-law, and this is his place. But he lets me obviously use and abuse it as long as it's clean and tidy. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I may be able to get it all together in one shot, but the way it came apart, it took me 2 or 3 goes, and I think I called back up in the end anyway. So we'll see how we go. I'll if there's anything interesting, I'll be sure to let you know. But yeah, roll the time lapse. Well, I've got to get you up to date, as it seems the battery went flat whilst it was doing the time lapse. Okay. So I'll bring you up to speed. It's in one piece. Well, they've mated. Yeah, so it's all together. It went together not too bad. I needed to rearrange a couple of times. And then it's weird with things like this. You'll be fighting it, and then all of a sudden it'll just go all together, and it makes a lovely noise. When you get I've done it with cars, trucks, tractors, buses, and all sorts. But when the engine and the gearbox finally come back together, it's like a whoop sort of noise. It's just a really nice big closing noise. Thankfully, I had that with this. I'm really pleased that we did line up the clutch with the input shaft. That was a great help. So now it's just connecting all the ancillaries. The coil is back on, the starter's back in, and the starter main wire is in. Water temperature sender is in, oil pressure's back in. And yeah, now I'm going to attach the radius arms and the steering, and then I think I'll throw the fuel tank on. I'll see if I can keep the time lapse running for this one. Back in a... Whew, what a day. We're finally at the end of the day, and actually we've made quite good progress. I've made some small cock-ups. When I mated the tractor back together, I didn't make sure that the throttle lever was through this hole. It was down here somewhere. So I've just been messing about with that, having to undo that screw down there, this bolt even just here, and then tapping it through, managed to pulling it through and then putting it back on. All I've been doing is reattaching things. So the dynamo is now hooked up, the breather pipe for the crankless breather into the air cleaner. Obviously the radius arms, the steering arms are on, and then it's the same this side. Yeah, that's about it really. It's been this part has been probably the most challenging because it's been fighting me every feasible way, but we're getting there. We're just ploughing on through, taking our time. In the next episode, what I envisage is we'll put the oils in, we'll fill it up with oil. I'll probably take the plugs out, motor it over to make sure that we get good oil pressure, and then from there we will go from, well, probably put the coils back in, put the spark plugs back in, radiator on, fill it full of water, petrol in, make sure it all goes through fine, and then we'll obviously do the back end as well. Fire it up. We'll make sure it runs as is without any tin work or anything like that on it. I've got to rewire the lights because the feed wire, I'll just show you this, the feed wire has had a fair bit of amps through it, so that is obviously too small. So we'll get there, we'll get that sorted, we'll get that rewired. And yeah, we're getting there. It's just, it is fighting me every feasible place. But anyway, that's for me to worry and for you to watch in the next episode, right here on Let's cut that and do that again. So there we go. So this has been fighting me at every opportunity, but that's for me to worry about, not for you. This is for... I'm too tired to give a fuck. Anyway. So this has been fighting me every corner, but that's not to worry. That's for me to worry, not for you to worry. And you will catch up with me next time on Rory's Workshop. Take care, stay safe.